Another option here is to try and deny the other premise. So the other premise is P2, which says, um, if we go back, we can see P2 here, which is we can only be held responsible for our beliefs if we have control over them. And so over the past couple of slides, we've been thinking about denying premise one, which is that we don't have control over our beliefs, but instead we could try and deny P2 and instead argue that we can have responsibility for our beliefs, even if we don't control them. So, quote for this kind of compatibilist position is the idea that the kind of control necessary for having a doxastic obligation does not require that one is able to intentionally acquire or maintain a belief. So maybe we could, accept all this argument here about this involuntarism, so we can't choose the beliefs that we hold, but maybe we can still be held responsible for them. So how would that work? This seems like a little bit of a less intuitive idea. So one argument given by Heller is that we can be held responsible if we form beliefs in line with, quote, our epistemic nature. And so there's a little bit of kind of lack of clarity here about what this means, but broadly this is the idea of kind of our character, our style of forming beliefs. So if it's something that this is something that we've kind of developed over time, maybe we couldn't have failed to form certain beliefs, but if it's in line with our epistemic nature, then maybe that's something we can be responsible for. But one of the counter arguments here is that it seems like this is less compelling because maybe our epistemic nature is something that isn't really under our control either. So if there's no control anywhere, it still seems like the force of this involuntarist argument is still the same. So, for example, if we think that our epistemic nature could be formed through some kind of indoctrination or kind of our upbringing, we might not think that that really says very much about whether we should be held responsible. We can generate thought experiments which suggest that even if we're forming beliefs in line with our epistemic nature, we still don't want to be held responsible for them. And if we can do that, then it suggests that this particular compatibilist strategy has failed. So another option might be come from Stoip, which says that we're responsible if our belief is formed through a process that is responsive to epistemic reasons and which we endorse or are comfortable with. So it seems like we might want to say that the compatibilist response here is not about exactly how we form our beliefs, but how they fit into our kind of epistemic processes. So a process that is responsive to epistemic reasons, which is this kind of general kind of protective assumption, but also the idea that we endorse it, we're comfortable with our belief. It doesn't kind of cause us any strain or anything to incorporate this into our other kind of worldview and belief structure. So if we endorse it, if we're comfortable with the belief, then that maybe suggests that we can be held responsible for it because it fits too well with our other kind of underlying beliefs. And one of the arguments that gets given here is that we can be held responsible for loads of actions that we perform without conscious intention, without really choosing to do them. So if we are typing something, or another example that gets given is continuing to move my legs when I'm already running. So these are things that are kind of automatic actions, but are things which we still think are things that we can be held responsible for because they kind of fit with the things that we're already doing. So this is a kind of argument from an analogy here.